is a presentation of Real Wise Productions and Komen Media Incorporated. A Titanic tragedy out in the Atlantic. Next on Mentality. Welcome to another installment of Mentality, the place where iron sharpens iron in the realm of health, mental health, wealth, love, and brotherhood from a male and man's perspective. I am one half of this program, one of the co-hosts of the show, Cole Johnson, and I'm joined as always by the other half, the other co-host of this show, one Mr. Wize El Jefe. How you doing, man?
I am doing well, brother. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. I really cannot complain. I really am doing good. All right, Deion Sanders might have to go. Well, actually, he will undergo surgery under the knife yet again. Now, the former Jackson State University head football coach, now in Colorado as the head football coach there, he said that he will undergo surgery. Well, I should say he has undergone surgery as of this taping this past weekend to fix blood clots in his legs, but he downplayed the risk of amputation after one of his doctors mentioned it last week and the news leaked. Now, he has since 2021, when he discovered he had blood clots, which led to a life-threatening situation and the amputation of two toes on his left foot. He has suffered other problems with other toes on that same left foot. And he said on an Instagram post this past week that the procedure would be to try to get what it was to try to get those clots out so he could have proper blood flow to the leg so they can fix the toes. Now, the first time I heard of him talking about it was during his appearance on Club Shay Shay, where he was transparent enough to actually have his foot massaged on the program. And Shannon, being the smart, intuitive guy that he is, he actually asked questions about it. And to my surprise, Dion actually was extremely candid about the situation and his medical history, his family medical history. So, how important is it to know your family's medical history?
Very important. It's very important. Like I know on my father's side, diabetes is uh very prominent, and so I need to really take care of what I eat, how I eat. I really need to start losing weight because I've had relatives who've lost limbs because of diabetes and the way and how it afflicts the body. So that it kind of scares me knowing this kind of history. And then on
Mhm.
my mother's side, there's a couple of other things that are like the last few years of few people on my mother's side passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
So I need to be very careful on that and get myself checked out regularly. And so it's important when you know these things and and you know this information, because then you can start taking the right I don't know, the right things you need to just start doing the right things for you. Start taking care of yourself, and so yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's cancer. My grandfather died of it. My grandmother, uh, my grandmother had breast cancer. She is in remission. My mother had breast cancer, and she too is in remission. So, uh, by the time I was in my mid 20s, no, by the time I was in my early 20s, that was hammered home to me. I'm like, okay, so cancer runs in my family. Now, it got to the point where I said, okay, what's the common thread? Let's see. My grandfather smoked. My grandmother smoked. My mother smoked. All right. And I'm not, I haven't touched a cigarette, and that means I won't ever touch one. All right. So, so after that, I'm like, okay, so what else? And that has been beneficial and helpful. Uh, what, what, what threw me for a loop with Dion was and he's 55 now. When he asked his mother, and he was like 53 at the time when he asked her about about blood clots, she actually told him then that the family had a history of it. So, yeah, I think it is very important. So, for several years in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the MCU, Nick Fury was always the character that was two steps ahead of every threat. He was cagey and confident and cool, as he was basically the other side of, well, a character like Tony Stark being ridiculously expensive and proud of it. Well, that was then. Now we get to Secret Invasion, the new six-episode miniseries that debuted this past Wednesday on Disney Plus. He's playing from behind, as they say, for the first time, and he might not be ready to handle mankind's latest existential threat. Now, what I find intriguing is that Samuel himself, he said that it's all about showing this new vulnerability. Quote, it's always good to have a character that's flawed, who's used to knowing what's going on and all of a sudden realizes the truth of what people are saying to him. And for in his case, that you may be too old for this game now. Things have passed you by. I don't know about TikTok and Twitter and all that stuff now, so I'm kind of behind. But being in the shadow world, it's life and death when you don't have the instincts or the reflexes that you had in the past, and you think you're still the person and you're not. So it's fun to have a guy that has to change and adapt. That's not who Nick Fury is, and it helps an audience to empathize with him in a different way than they normally do. Close quote. Now, I'll ask this. How can we as men see strength in our own vulnerabilities?
It's funny that you this comes up, because I've been actually battling with myself, because I've been I've been afraid to start my and I'm going to talk about this. This is why I'm going to talk about this now.
Mhm,
I've been afraid to start my coaching career, because I feel that I'm flawed, and why would someone want to be coached by someone who's flawed? And I know it doesn't make sense, because no one's perfect. I'm saying, and
yeah,
it's
we gotta
because
start somewhere.
I know my own I know the I've been through. I know my own. So
Yeah.
it kind that's what's kind of that's what's kind of holding me back right now, is
Mhm,
that mentality, that I know that I'm up in certain ways. So who would want to be coached by someone like me? And I know it's all in my head. It's all in
mhm,
my I know it's in my head, and I'm working on getting over overcoming this fear. But
mhm,
I think by me talking about it now, it's kind of me expressing it and talking about it is kind of making me look kind of is making me look at it like, Get out of your head, man. Get off." But it's situations like that where you know that you're flawed. You know you're not perfect. No one in this world is. and you allow it to cripple you.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it makes any sense.
It makes plenty of sense. Look, you know, I'm going through a couple of things now where that's being tested too. It's not a coaching thing. But yeah, I've had to dig into the flaws and the weaknesses that I have, and I now I have to find a way to turn that into some strengths and make that turn into a strength, and really dig into that. And I had to learn, and I'm still learning, and like you are, in trying to overcome not wanting to be a coach. Uh, Strength can be found in your weakness. You just have
Mhm.
to put the right things in that weaknesses spot, and you have to change your mindset, and you have to think differently. Yes, easier said than done.
Yes.
So I'm not even going to say to you why. I'm not even going to be like this to Wise and say, you think like that? Shame on you. I understand that, man. I
No,
fully
no,
understand that.
no, and that's what
I
I'm saying.
fully
This is what
understand.
this is for. This is why we created this show, is to
Hmm.
be able to express ourselves and be able to talk this out and show our side, show our
Hmm.
flaws, show that
Hmm.
we're not perfect and that
Right.
we are like regular people. We are
Yeah.
regular people. I'm saying
Hmm.
so. We have these fears and these things, but the question is, how am I going to respond? What am
Good.
I going to do to
Oh, good
stop
question.
this?
Oh,
Am I
good
going to just
question.
jump right into it and start coaching and just not be afraid, or I'm going to still be hesitant? What am I going to do? And that's the million dollar question to myself.
Hmm.
And I will have an answer shortly. I'm
Hmm.
kind of feeling that and that's why I started. I guess that's why I started doing the reels that I'm doing now,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
30 tips in 30
30
days,
days.
to show that I know what the hell I'm talking about, to show that I'm capable of coaching and sharing tips. So that's I guess that's why I really started getting into that and doing that, to show myself that, listen, you know what you're talking about. You've been doing this long enough. You have some expertise in this. Stop being afraid. Stop. Own your basically. Own your yeah. I'm saying. So I'm excited for this transformation for the next 30 days, man.
We're just getting started. Mentality will return. There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. Four men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. The Mocha Minutes Podcast, a black person safe space. Well, I'll let Stephanie talk about it further.
You would be a Michael Jai White. I'm sorry. No. I like him. He's so pretty when he don't talk. Would Will Smith, if this was a white comedian, would he went up and slapped him? Would y'all have a problem with it if it was a white comedian doing this? People who say water or wash, I'm like, how did wash get an R in it? Stand up. I don't know why 5 Heartbeats just popped in my head. Stand up.
From entertainment to society and culture, that comprises of the Mocha Minutes Podcast, hosted by Stephanie. Welcome back to Mentality, the place where this is for all men. With Wize and Cole, I'm Cole Johnson, and for the members of the families of the 5 men who died in the OceanGate submarine, we are standing in the gap for you. Now, on June 16th, the submarine labeled OceanGate and its support ship departed from St. John's in Newfoundland in Canada. And then on June 18th, the submersible began its dive and descent to see the Titanic, which is about 370 miles or so off of Newfoundland and 12,500 feet deep in the North Atlantic Ocean.
How deep again?
12,500 feet deep. Yeah. So a little under 2 hours into that dive, the Canadian support ship, the Polar Prince, which was tasked with monitoring the submersible, lost all communication with the vessel. Now, that submarine or that submersible was only equipped with a 96-hour supply of oxygen. 96 hours, that basically equals out to 4 days if you can't do the math real fast. That would have lasted until this past Thursday morning, but the Coast Guard led the frantic rescue mission that employed U.S. and Canadian ships, aircraft, and other equipment. And as of last Wednesday, search crews were scouring an area of the ocean roughly 2 times the size of the state of Connecticut. And unfortunately, they discovered the passengers all dead. The passengers being the OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, British billionaire explorer Hamish Harding, French maritime and Titanic expert Paul Henry Noguelet, and a father and son duo from one of Pakistan's most prominent families, Shahzada Dawood and Suleiman Dawood. Now, man, it's just horrible to talk about. Now, the submersible was owned by the Washington-based private company OceanGate, and it was 22 feet long, and it weighed 25,000 pounds. Now, the vessel was designed to hold 5 people and descend to over 13,000 feet into the ocean. According to the company, it had titanium crew compartments, a carbon fiber hull, and 1 toilet inside. Now, the cost for a trip would be about $250,000. The company runs commercial projects, scientific research, and exploration in deep water. And after the submersible disappearance, information surfaced showing that there were prior concerns about the safety of the group's expeditions. And I wonder why.
Was this like the first expedition there, or had they done this tour before?
Now, that's a good question. That I don't know.
This is just some rich people. Seriously, I know they lost. Listen, my condolences to the family and everything, but this is some rich people. Like, this is like going to the moon, like going to Mars. Like, only people going to Mars is the millionaires, and God knows how that's gonna go.
Yeah. I'm not laughing at the tragedy because it is.
We're not. No, we're not. We're definitely not. But this is just some rich people. This is like me and you, and this is not something we think about. This is not something we it's not on our bucket list. Is to go down and see the Titanic. Like,
Mm-mm.
I could care less about prior to this. I don't even know when the last time I thought about Titanic. Like
Probably when the movie came out 25 years ago.
maybe or when I came into the memes or some shit. But I don't. That's not one of my. That's not one of the things I have envisioned in my life is going 12,500 feet down, and especially in small quarters, because I'm sure the submarine was not that big.
No.
With 4 other people, one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
Yep.
No.
One toilet. Mm-hmm.
No. That's not
Yes.
me. That's some rich people shit. That's just not me.
It's not me.
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. Yeah. Look, if they really wanted to do this, in my opinion, I think they should have been more prepared than they were, because I really believe they weren't. Uh in you saying that this is rich people something, why risk your life being so unprepared for this type of danger?
Good question. I don't know. I guess they didn't have nothing. They was bored. I can't explain to you why these people went down there. I don't know. I know I wouldn't go down there because that's a long way down.
Okay. Yeah,
And if something malfunctions,
mm-hmm.
it's a long way back up.
Yeah.
No. I'd rather not put myself in those predicaments. Now,
Mm-hmm.
$250,000 to go see the Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you could have just rented Titanic. Or you could have just rented the documentary on when they went and seen the Titanic, if if you wanted to see the wreckage. But I'm not going 12,500 feet.
Oh my, that's hilarious.
And basically, I'm in a I'm in a death trap. No, sorry.
Now the French maritimer, I think he was the oldest on the submersible, 73. Now he was director of the underwater research for the EM Group and RMS Titanic Incorporated. Now he had successfully dived in a submersible to the site of the Titanic wreckage 37 times. And he has also supervised the recovery of 5,000 artifacts while being down there, according to the EM Group's website, who also says that he's widely considered the leading authority on the wreck site. But I just don't believe they were fully prepared. I just don't.
Was this the maiden voyage for that submerge? I wonder, was this the maiden voyage? It'd be ironic if it was the maiden voyage.
I'm leaning toward yes, and yeah, it would be messed up. The maiden voyage of that submersible is trying to go down to see the maiden voyage of the Titanic. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. The irony is now lost on us. Yes. But one thing that I think I find bothersome is the memes of this came quick, fast, and hurry.
Oh, people don't play, man.
They don't.
People don't play. People are cold. People are cold,
Yeah.
man. People can be ruthless. Because I already seen them talking about how the Simpsons predicted this. One of the videos I seen was a clip of the Simpsons and Homer being down in the submerged and getting caught somewhere. And yeah, like people can be mean.
I'm like, why do people want to make jokes of this tragedy? Because I'm like, man, I don't find any of this funny.
But again, it's the rich people, because I don't see myself wanting to do this. This is not, again, how many black people you think their life goal, like one of the things on their bucket list is to go down and see the Titanic? There's nobody going to talk me into going. No, that's like, it's not happening.
Mm-mm. No. Yeah, that's too deep. And we're talking about waters that even in June could probably be a little bit on the cold side. So no. The North Atlantic,
I'm sure it's
yeah.
dark down there. I'm sure it is
Yes.
dark
I'm
down
sure
there.
extremely dark
Oh,
down there.
hell
In the
no.
daytime, I'm sure it's dark down
No.
there. Yeah.
No, thank you. Well,
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's a no for me too. Okay, so U.S. Coast Guard officials stated that remote operating vehicles, or ROVs, would remain operating the sea floor around the Titanic and investigate the debris field. The Coast Guard basically said that they don't know whether they would be able to recover the bodies of the 5 passengers of the OceanGate submersible called Titan, because they've said that it's a very unforgiving environment. Now, with that being said, what should be next in the authorities' investigation of this implosion? What it's been termed as an implosion.
I would be investigating OceanGate. Like,
Mhm.
like, were you properly prepared for this? Was this like, are y'all 100% sure that this was really researched, and did y'all really do your due diligence? Because this is, whoever signed off on this. Well, I guess it was the CEO, and his was on the boat, so on the submarine, so he ain't got no one to blame but himself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's too soon. Too soon. but we all know what we really want to say. We do. We just can't say it because it's so soon. It's too.
Unfortunately, it's so soon to the wreckage. Yeah.
It'd be cruel to really, but we know it's. Like I said, some rich people. That's all I can say. That's my answer to this. It's rich people.
Mentality will be back in 2 and 2. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
It's your girl, Stacey Rose.
Are you looking for a show with riveting interviews, important community information from a vibrant and grounded host? STK Productions presents The Intro Kit.
Put God first and ask questions later. Let's get it popping. I wanted to give people a platform where they can express themselves and talk about their business and their endeavors in a very safe space.
Content and entertainment just for you. The Intro Kit.
Friday Eve.
Or Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central. Alicia.
You can't hold somebody to that standard if you haven't voiced what you want and what you're needing from that.
Mika.
If you're not communicating expectations, you're waiting for your feelings to be hurt.
Nicole.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time out to be alone and to get themselves together.
Ivan.
You got to be willing to work through stuff. And from the jump street, y'all done had problems. Maybe you don't need to be working through those.
BS3 Network proudly presents Queen 3 and King podcast. Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. Welcome back to Mentality, where men are men, and that's a good thing. With Wize and Cole, I'm Cole Johnson. Heck, I'm not going to give any pretenses. Let's get right into it now. We're going to do a quick segment called Fight the Power. So apparently there was a fundraiser that was being done at a Walmart in Providence, Rhode Island. And that fundraiser featured a Black employee in a cage asking for bail money to contribute to the local Children's Miracle Network hospital. And it is drawing criticism, withering criticism at that, and demands for an investigation after a photo was posted on social media. Now, there was a shopper that spotted the display this past Wednesday night at the Walmart there, where she was making a return. And she snapped the photo, and it was later posted on Twitter by another person who leads the Rhode Island Foundation's Equity Leadership Initiative. Now, a sign on the cage read, quote, "I'm in jail. I need bail. Help me raise $50 to get out." Close quote. Donations, according to the sign, were being sent to the Children's Medical Network's Hasbro Children's Hospital in Providence. Walmart Corporation spokesperson Joe Pennington said the location was participating in an annual Children's Miracle Network Hospitals fundraiser, during which the company encourages store associates to creatively engage with one another and customers to raise money. The jail fundraiser goes against company policy, he says, and that it should never be used. That they were reinforcing this with the stores in their area, and this display has been removed from our Providence location, he says. Now, I will begin the questioning with this. Who would come up with ridiculousness like this?
Oh my God. My thing is the black dude that stood in the cage. Oh, this would have been. I would have been ripping up the cage. I would have been like, "Hey, why should you jump in the cage?" Like, what? What you just say to me?
I'm gonna rip up the cage.
What did you ask me to do? You better go ask Billy Bob or somebody go stand in the cage. Like, why it had to be the brother? And that's what the problem was, that it was the brother in the cage. Like, and this is Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they got some white people in Rhode Island. You tell me one of the white boys could have been in the cage? Why it had to be My thing is, like, how did he even agree to such a thing?
And that's another question I was going to ask. And why would he agree to that?
And not feel a certain kind of way? Because I know I would have felt a certain kind of way.
Oh, I would have felt wrong.
Hey, you want to be? Hey, come on, be in the cage.
Be a what?
Somebody would have been fired at Walmart that day. More than likely me. Because there would have been issues. Like, seriously, you putting me in the cage? Like, you telling me there was no other employees but the black dude? Like, you could have put anybody, put a woman in there. Like, it would have probably been nice, cool to just put a woman in there, some whatever. But the black dude, that and that's how everybody's gonna perceive it. Is, yeah, look at the black man in jail.
Yeah,
bail me out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, who didn't really think this through? Who in upper management was like, hey, this is a good idea. Let's put a cage and put a black man in there and say, hey, bail me out.
Nail
for a good cause.
Nail on the head, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, I would want to ask the guy who was put in the cage a lot of questions. But the upper management is where I would focus this ire on, because I'm like, No one said, no, this is a crappy idea. We ain't doing this. None of
Like,
them.
there was nobody in upper management could see the logic in not doing this.
None of them said that.
No one. Not the assistant manager, not the assistant to the assistant manager, not Betty and bakery, nothing. No one.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
No one didn't think this was a bad idea.
Oh,
let's just put the Negro in the cage. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
they fit right in.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, it's crazy how that how that has gone. So of course, Black Lives Matter has gotten into things, and they demand an investigation into this black employee being put in jail.
You ruined this for me by mentioning Black Lives Matter.
What do
Who they
you
matter
think
to?
about Black Lives Matter debate?
Who they matter to?
Investigation
To
meeting?
themselves? Because they don't matter to me. The Black Lives Matter do not represent me or mine. I'm sorry. They represent their pockets. They're not there. And then the funny, and you look what you just said, that the black guy should be arrested. Not the upper management whose idea this was. You want to arrest the black guy that was in the cage. He deserves to get slapped, but put in jail, not so much.
Oh gosh. So why did you ruin it by mentioning Black Lives Matter? You made my year with that comment.
The black guy should be arrested. We just added some new members to the morons of the year.
Lord.
BLM, welcome to the club, because you are some morons. The black guy should really be arrested. What the is wrong with you people? I don't understand. Like, it's supposed to be Black Lives Matter, but you want to put the black guy in jail because, like I said, he should get slapped for the stupid, but actually for even agreeing to be in the cage. Like, one of his boys should seriously slap the out of him. Because, like, Negro, are you stupid? Like, what is wrong with you? How are you gonna put yourself in the cage? So yes, his boy should definitely slap the out of him. Oh, and now the person in upper management whose decision this was, but yet y'all don't say that person should go to jail. So when does Black Lives really matter to you guys? Just so right now, so you can get recognition, so you can put your name in there. Oh, Black Lives Matter. We're supporting black people. But yeah, you want the black dude to go to jail. That makes no sense to me.
Oh my. God, that's funny. Whew. Wow. Okay.
Makes no sense. Go back to your beach houses. Go back to wherever y'all put that money that y'all stole. Just go back to living your fraudster lives.
Are you saying that Black Lives Matter steals money? No.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Later, we will have Thoughts from the Throne. This is Mentality. What's on E. Dicker's mind?
A and B, I'm going to see my way out of it. Because why? I don't care. I have a message for people who do nothing but complain about black people. We can't change who we are. You called the cops on me. I think that every time you call the cop on someone on a false accusation, your need to be a little bit punished.
BS3 Network proudly presents a man with a lot to say, and is unabashed to say it. What's on E. Digger's mind? Sundays at 7:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. Are you looking for something to do on your lunch break? Well, there's a show on the BS3 Network that has only 4 words to say to you.
We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all. We ready. We ready.
The Lunch Break with AJ, powered by JM&E. Live weekdays at noon Central. Welcome back to Mentality, where it is the ultimate masculine safe space. With the W, the I, the C, the E, I am Cole Johnson. And we have touched on many in the Republican Party. I think we should touch on a figure, maybe not a politician, but he's close to the biggest politician we have in today's U.S. society, on the Democrat side. Now, who would that be? Well, we're going to introduce this figure under the learning tree. Well, the GOP's whooping boy and the son of the president of the United States. Yes, he is facing charges and actually made a plea deal. Hunter Biden agreed this past Tuesday to resolve federal tax and gun charges culminated in a 5-year criminal investigation, and he likely averted prison time. But he opened the door to an intensified congressional inquiry and further political attacks against his father. Now, the president and Biden's stepmother, Jill, expressed that they would support Biden, obviously, after officials announced that he would be pleading guilty to tax charges and resolve a gun offense. Republican lawmakers and former President Donald Trump alleged that the case has been politicized and amounts of a sweetheart deal for a member of the president's family. Now, why have we come to this portion? Well, the plea bargain has uncovered 2 counts of tax evasion. He also agreed to a pretrial program because of a gun charge. Now, why is that? Well, the Gun Control Act prohibits people who use drugs from possessing firearms. And for those who are unaware, Mr. Biden, and I'm not talking about Joe, I'm talking about Hunter, he was filmed, and this is not hyperbole, this is fact. He was filmed with a woman, and looked like it was in a bathroom, and then it gets a close-up of about 4 or 5 white lines, which means the man was doing blow. and he probably was smoking that. He probably was smoking that rock too. But again, the GOP says it's a slap on the wrist. However, it looks like we're going to be delving into uh, a political investigation to Mr. Hunter Biden. Now, I ask this: why is Hunter Biden such a troubled figure?
Oh man, listen, like people have their demons, and my boy has them demons on him. He's got a drug issue. He's got a Russia issue. He's got a lot of things, man. So I, again, it's crazy because I don't want to. When no one's walking in his shoes, no one knows what he's going through, especially when it comes to addiction and stuff like that. Like I said, he has his demons. Now it's time to face them and deal with them. We all know, we all know he's getting leniency because of who he is, who his father is,
and who he's related to, right?
We agree. I agree. I know that's like
had it
been a regular person like you and me, we would have been thrown under the jail or something. So we all know why he's getting the deal that he is. And the same thing with when President Orange was in office. Certain people got away with things. It's crazy that we as Americans have to see this, have to be blatantly shown that we don't matter, that we're insignificant. It's all about power and money, and when you and who you know and what you know. So
and seeing it flaunted, even with Donald Trump's as well, and the things that's happening with him, and we of course touched on George Santos too. Yeah, it makes you shake your head as a normal Joe Blow American citizen, and it's like, wow. So it is really true what our parents, what some of our OGs, and some people in even Ryman said. Yeah, if you have money, that is the passport to get you out of a lot of stuff. But if you're broke and you run afoul of the same law, you will get different consequences. And it's a shame it's the case like that. So, what do you believe the punishment should be for Hunter?
It's crazy. I don't know because Fat Joe had to serve time when he did tax evasion.
That's right, he did. I forgot about that. Yeah.
A couple other people had to serve time for tax evasion. Why shouldn't why? Because his last name is Biden. He shouldn't serve his time. He should get the same time Fat Joe got served for tax evasion. He should serve.
I get the feeling he won't, even though Fat Joe has fat pockets.
He ain't got Biden last name.
He don't have that last name, and it looks like Hunter is deep in pockets too, because it says that he actually earned $1.5 million in 2017 and 18, but it didn't get reported each year. So yeah. So do you agree with the assessment of the GOP saying that Biden's charge was basically nothing more than a slap on the wrist?
Man, look who's it coming from. Like, seriously, this is like this, like the kettle calling the like
pot calling the kettle black.
Like the pot calling the kettle black. Yeah, like, please, how many people did scrupulous things and they're getting away with it right now? Like, How many GOP candidates are under investigation for corruption? Too many to probably count.
You're about to say lost count. Yeah, lost count.
So we both know both sides are corrupt. We both
Gosh,
know,
yes.
we both know it's again all about the Benjamins.
You got Sleepy Joe. He's seeing his son. He's gone through these issues. At
Joe
least
probably
the
don't
past
forgot
5
about it,
years.
man. Joe probably already forgot about it.
Oh my gosh, no.
Probably erased it already.
He didn't forget about that fall at the Air Force Academy. I'm sorry. So
he tripped on air. He tripped on air.
Oh, so he was pointing at air. Okay.
I don't know what he was doing, but he tripped on the air. Like they said it was a sandbag that was in the way, but
And now, thoughts from the throne.
all right. So I actually want to go back to talking about my fears and it holding me back and it paralyzing me and keeping me stuck to where I'm at. And being able to actually talk about it and express myself about it, and it's kind of lifted this weight off of me to be able to actually admit that I'm the one holding myself back. It's a sign that I'm willing to work on myself. It's a sign that I'm willing to admit that I'm not perfect. I'm still working on myself. I'm still like anyone else. I'm still a work in progress, but I still have something to offer people out there. And so me being afraid, no more. It's no more. It's me grabbing hold of it and taking and seizing this opportunity and going out and grabbing those reins and making the best opportunity of the opportunities that are being given to me. So thank you everyone out there for supporting Mentality, for supporting everything we do. I greatly appreciate it. Got nothing but love for everybody that's been supporting us from day one. And that's just my thoughts from the throne. Peace.
I had to learn a painful lesson in this past month. And that lesson is fighting for love. You see, I was under this assumption that I think things were okay, and things were fine, but I learned quite quickly that it wasn't the case. And so I received a wake-up call. And during that wake-up call, I've had to really, really, really understand that love is precious. I mean, it's like the Bible says, it's also patient, it's also kind, it has to keep a record of wrongdoings, it always preserves, and it always protects, and it never fails. But the one thing that love does more than anything else, it validates. It validates who you are, it validates who you have in your life, and ultimately it validates the type of life you want to live. So if there's anything that I could pass along to all of you, it is to fight for love. It is worth the battle. It is worth the vulnerability. It is worth the embarrassment sometimes. But most importantly, it is worth the prize and the reward you receive at the end. Because if you push through it, you will get something that you didn't think you deserved, but it'll be something that is far better than anything you could have ever dreamed or imagined. And those are thoughts from the throne. All right. Any final words, sir, before we do let the mentality audience go?
Yes, I do. So now, you know, I'm gonna be. You know what? I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna be nice. There's not gonna be no rant, no Boston rant today.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying?
You, Christoph Fingers. Now you're a Boston Celtic.
I knew it.
Who else out there?
I was expecting that.
Oh, you Stifler's mom.
Stifler's mom is a Bostonian? Oh,
yes, she
Lord.
is. Jennifer Coolidge is a Bostonian. Yes, she is. Mr. Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy. Rest in peace, but you too.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna be easy. Did I mention Captain America already?
No, you have not.
I haven't. Well, yeah, Captain America, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans? Wow.
Chris Evans. Yes.
Chris Evans is catching that wreck. Wow.
Yes. And the Hulk before Mark Ruffalo, Mr. Edward Norton. Fight Club.
Mm-hmm.
Don't nobody talk about Fight Club, but you, Edward Norton. And that's it. That's the Bostonians that. Oh yeah, you, Boston.
The following is a public service announcement from Wize El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wize El Jefe.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for that. I needed that. That will do it for this edition of Mentality. We thank you, Bostonians and non-Bostonians, for liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and watching and or listening to whatever emanates from this platform, whether it is the Coleman Media Incorporated or the Real Wise TV brand on YouTube and other places. That will do it for Mentality. For Wize El Jefe, I am Cole Johnson, here to say in parting, as we always do, our secret technique is that we always speak with mentality. See you next week.
Peace.
That's 100.